Greetings, world. I'm honored that you would welcome me on this very important and powerful subject of the afterlife guarantee, a perfect future. I would like to present the perfect future to you. I would like to provide the guarantee for you, and I ask that you'll give me a hearing that'll probe deep into your heart and into your soul in terms of your choices concerning the future. At this very moment of this recording, 33 miners in the beautiful land of Chile are caught underneath the earth. They've been there about 2.5 months, knowing that rescue is on the way. For you see, when the mine shaft collapsed, they could not get out, and for 2 weeks they were completely lost to the world. Their families did not know that they were alive, when on the 15th day they were able to get a message out saying, "We are alive, all of us are well." Immediately, the whole country mobilized. They were exhilarated with the possibilities of rescuing these people. They found the finest mining experts in order to bring rescue to these 33. They said it would take about 4 months before a rescue shaft is built. They've provided several plans, and finally, in the next few hours, as I address you, we are hoping that all 33 will be brought out. In the meanwhile, for the last 2 months, there's been a hole that has been the communication between those trapped under the mine as well as those above ground. They've sent water, they've sent food, they've also let down cameras, tiny cameras, where the miners, for the sake of the families, would come close to the camera, press their faces against the camera to show their families that they were alive. Commentators say that these miners were filled with hope and happiness, even as people above the ground were filled with joy and anticipation and expectation. Now, these miners, for about 2.5 months, they have been in a small place, 380 some square feet. They are 33 of them. They have to live in it. They have to work in it. They have to eat with the food that's been supplied to them and with others. They are about half a mile under the ground, about 2,300 feet. This has been a very trying time for them, but the very fact that there's a possibility of rescue keeps their hopes alive and even provides them a bit of happiness in the middle of their imperfect present situation. You and I are like those miners. We are in an imperfect present situation. Notice, your imperfect present could be relational. You have been betrayed by those whom you loved, and those whom you love have sensed your betrayal. The desires and hopes for a relationship that would blossom into beautiful young and old love have been broken. Relational. There is also economic imperfection. During this time of the global crisis, people have been knocking on doors hoping for employment. If you lose your job that you don't like, 100 people are ready to take your job. Your boss hates you and you hate your employees. Or if you're the owner of the business, you're wondering about how the cash flow situation can be handled because banks are unwilling to lend to you as they look at your bottom line and the prospects do not seem good. Others of you are in a mental imperfect present. You are full of anxiety and worry. You look at the future and you're at the edge of your intellectual resources. You do not know what tomorrow is going to bring. It's an imperfect present. And then there is physical imperfection, isn't it? All of us have borne pain. Some of us have borne greater pain. Of course, there is no more pain than what one person can experience, and yet people have experienced the greatest pain. This last year, our world has been filled with tragedies of epic proportion. It started with the earthquake in Haiti, which completely devastated the capital city of Port-au-Prince. I had the privilege of being there with those who were weeping. 230,000 people killed, another 300,000 missing, meaning they're in the pancake buildings all over the city. The floods in Pakistan, Millions of people unsettled, about 20 million people. All over the world, physical, imperfect, present. There's also another imperfect present. It's called the spiritual imperfect present, isn't it? Where you are sensing the load of your own guilt, where you don't have forgiveness, you are sensing estrangement and alienation before God. You know that you have not met God's expectations of you. That's another imperfect present. So, all of us have at some degree or some way having to cope with the imperfections of the present. Somebody said there are layers of imperfection, irritation, frustration, and aggravation. An assistant of mine said, if a person calls me on my desk phone and introduces himself as George, asking for Ramesh Richard every hour on the hour, I get irritated with him. If he calls me on my hand phone after office hours in the night and says, this is George, I want to talk to Ramesh Richard, I get frustrated with him. But if he calls me at 2 a.m. in the morning, drunk, and says, this is Ramesh Richard, I want to see if there are any messages for me, I really get aggravated with George. All of us have some degree of imperfection in our present, don't we? Actually, our daughter's basketball coach used to coin a word. I don't know that he knew the difference, but he put frustration and fluster together and called it flustration. That's how the present feels. Frustrated. The imperfect present. Is there a way to go from the imperfect present to a perfect future? And can that way be guaranteed?